Mojn, welcome to the channel. I just wanted to share with you that I have picked up the new iPad mini 2024 with the a17 Pro chip and also the new Apple Pencil Pro, or well, it came out back in May. But this is the first iPad mini that I've ever owned. I've owned the iPad Pro 9.7-inch screen and then the 2020 11-inch iPad Pro. Today I just want to do a quick unboxing video with you guys and my initial impressions of this little device. Alright, let's start with the iPad itself. It's so tiny, this device. Now, here it is. It does pick up some fingerprints, as you can see. Sorry about the sound in the background. My son is currently playing with some of his toys. And I picked it up in the blue color. And it's a very, very light blue. It's almost silver in this lighting. You can't really see the blue color. Pardon for the pink fingerprints. But yeah, it's just a very, very tiny little device. I'm looking forward to trying this device out for especially reading and taking it with me on the go with the kids and stuff. And this here is the new Apple Pencil Pro, because the new iPad mini only works with the USB-C, I think they call it, Apple Pencil, the old one. And then this new one. They don't work with the old Apple Pencil Gen 2, I think it was called. But I do like that this, the color of this writing is different from each box. It's random which color you get. And I got this orangey color. Looks nice. Doesn't really change the pen though. Oh, sorry. It just kind of rolled out. But here it is. Now I finished setting up the iPad, and as you can see, I love to have lots of folders to keep everything organized on my iPads. So that's just the layout that I've decided to go with for now, and with a few widgets on top, some photos, the weather, calendar. It's got this Touch ID button up here on the top that you can use to unlock the device with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have, Face ID like the iPad Pro does. And yeah, that's just something you have to live with, I guess. Also, it doesn't have the 120 hertz display. It's only got 60 hertz. So that's also a bit annoying, especially if you're used to 120 hertz display like I am on my iPhone and on my iPad Pro. But I will say that when I used it yesterday, particularly for reading books, I love reading manga. It's like the perfect size for reading manga, I think, and it's much nicer to hold long-term when reading compared to my iPad Pro 11-inch. But let's just compare the two sizes. Now I got the 11-inch iPad Pro. I haven't got the newest one. This is the model from 2020, and this is the new iPad mini. And you can definitely see a difference in size. Also, this screen is a bit bright. I don't know if it's because of the brightness. Yeah, it is. Now they are at max brightness, both of them. And as you can see, they're like around the same brightness. I do think maybe the iPad Pro over here is a little bit brighter than the iPad mini. I think this can go to like 500 nits of max brightness, whereas this is 600 nits. So it is a little bit brighter, but it's not by much since this is the 2020 model. I know the new iPad Pro with the M4 chips, they can go to like 1000 nits of max brightness. So they are much brighter than this. And I definitely was able to see that when I was at the store. I'm used to like this iPad and this brightness, so I didn't think there was too much of an upgrade going down to the max brightness of this iPad mini, because I did want an iPad that was a bit smaller than the iPad Pro to read on, and also to bring with me for the kids to watch shows on when we are out and about. And this can just be put into a bag much more easily than this one can. Of course, for longer trips, this one is still portable enough to take with me, but for everyday use, this one is much better in my opinion. But of course, this has a much, better screen for navigating stuff. It's much quicker, much smoother. I personally am able to see the difference quite clearly. So that's a thing I have to get adjusted to. But I will say, once I've been using this iPad mini for a while, it literally doesn't bother me with the 60 hertz display. So yeah, it's just a slight inconvenience in my opinion. And the kids definitely won't even care about that. I don't think so. But yeah, you can see it's much smaller than the iPad Pro over here. I think they are around the same thickness. I do think maybe the new iPad Pros are a bit thinner than my 2020 model and also than the iPad mini over here, but not by much. I think it's a bit smaller, but I can definitely feel the weight difference. But of course, it would be weird if the 11-inch over here was lighter than my iPad mini over here. And also, this iPad mini, of course, has this new Apple Pencil Pro, which doesn't work on my old iPad Pro. Just as the old Apple Pencil 2, I think it was called, that works on this iPad Pro, it doesn't work on this iPad mini. And I think that's a bit of a bummer, but because I don't think I would have bought this new Apple Pencil Pro if it wasn't due to the fact that it doesn't work on this new iPad mini. So I would definitely have kept my old if it worked with it. And also, if I look into Notes app, oh, my son has just been drawing yesterday. But you know, it's got this hover feature where I'm not touching the screen right now, and then it like lights up like this, the things I can touch on. And then it's also have this squeeze feature where I squeeze the pen and it puts up this small row of choices I can do. You know, I can change my pen, I can change, so I can remove things I've written and stuff like that. And I think it's very responsive, so I really do like it. And yeah, but when I'm writing with the iPad mini, even though it's only a 60 hertz refresh rate, I don't think it bothers me when writing. And it feels just as nice writing on this screen than it does on my iPad Pro with the older Apple Pencil. So I think for note-taking, the experience will be just as good with the iPad mini than it will be with the old iPad Pro. Of course, the size is smaller, so if I'm having multiple apps open in split screen, then this won't be as good for multitasking as the iPad Pro over here. So that's of course something you have to decide whether or not you want to have a multitasking device or you want to have one that you can focus on one thing at a time. But I think, yeah, once again, for everyday use, the small iPad mini is perfect for, you know, doing one thing at a time. I also bought this small cover for the iPad mini. It was just a cheap one I bought on a store that was able to be delivered quickly. I think it looks nice, and it also complements the blue color of this iPad mini rather well. Now that it is the next day, I think maybe you're able to see the blue color a bit better in the light today than yesterday, but it's definitely a very, very light blue color. More, I will almost say like an icy blue. Very, very light, but I think it looks good since blue is my favorite color. So of course I had to get the blue one. But yeah, let's just slide it in to this case. And even though this case is actually a bit cheaper, it still has like this auto wakeness feature that I love about the iPads. So you can just, you know, snap it on like this, and then it's just it turns off the screen, and then when I open up, it opens up the screen automatically. And it also has like, you know, the usual 2 positions you can put the tablet in, you know, when you're writing. You can put it down like this. Then you can just write some stuff here, blah, 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 blah. If you want to take a phone call or watch something, you can prop it up like this instead. Right now, I'd just like to show you how different it looks when I'm watching videos on the 11-inch iPad Pro and the iPad mini over here. You can see it's definitely smaller on the mini, but you know, it couldn't be any different, I don't think. But let's try and start the video. So if you'd like to, you know, read some comments while watching the video, you can see it's also much bigger on the 11-inch compared to the iPad mini with the 8.3-inch screen over here. But the thing I think that is very interesting is that when you are zooming into the video like this, it's not, you know, it is different, but you can see that the black bars are much bigger, in my opinion, on the 11-inch model compared to the 8.3-inch model down here. So for me, it is a bit more immersive watching stuff on the Mini compared to the Pro because of the smaller black bars, but it could also just be because the screen is smaller, so it doesn't, seem as big on the smaller screen than it does on the bigger screen. Maybe that's just me. But of course, if you're going to watch stuff with your partner or, more than one person, then the 11-inch is definitely better for that compared to the smaller 8.3-inch screen over here. For one person, this one is just fine for watching content. I think even though it's not an OLED screen, but an LCD screen, the colors look nice on both screens. Of course, I would have loved to have, the OLED screens on the iPad mini and also on my iPad Pro, because on the new Pro models, they do have a OLED screen. So of course that's much better compared to the LCD. But now that we don't have it, I'll say it doesn't bother me too much, and I do still enjoy watching content and reading on both my iPad Pro but also on the Mini over here. Okay, so that is my unboxing and first impressions video of this new iPad Mini. I'm very excited to use it and try it out for a few days. Thank you for watching this video. If you watched it to the end, thank you so much. Have a nice day or night depending on when you're watching this video. Mojn.